What do you want to talk about?
Wrestling! And here!
Wrestling?
Why?
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
Why? 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 Why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Why not? Why not?
It's fake.
Fake? What the hell are you talking about? Fake? It's not fake.
Fake.
Wrestling's not fake!
Okay, wrestling.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcome you to this week's episode of Wrestling Gold Friday Night. Yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, wrestling fans of all ages. Well, it's probably more of an adult show, so yeah, I think I put the kids. Yeah, it's. I think I said not. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If kids want to watch this, like anything else, they'll find ways to watch this. Anyway, how you folks doing this evening? We got a little thunder, little lightning, little thunder, little lightning going on. And of course, this is Wrestling Gold Friday Night. Made it to Friday. Time to pop open a cold one here. Oops, I did the right thing. Trying to be proper and use a bottle opener, but screw that. Um, so yes, cheers to all the hard-working men and women. Time to pop up a cold one, talk some wrestling, especially classic wrestling. Hello, Karen Poole. Hello, Joe King. What's going down? Hey, never mind. I had a bad joke. I had a very naughty joke about to say there, but I refrain from it because I actually I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I seen a news article. I believe it was last week. There was this study, and what they found out was swallowing a birth control pill is the number two thing women can swallow to prevent pregnancy. Uh, so that's a study done, and swallowing the number two thing a woman can swallow to prevent pregnancy is a birth control pill. I'm not sure if we mentioned. I don't know if anybody's seen that article or not. I was going to post it up here, but yeah, there was a study done. Very interesting stuff here. Uh, Funny, interesting what people go research on and stuff like that. But you can probably Google the article if you want to find it. Maybe I'll post it up later. But yeah, what's going down? What's going up? Yes, this is Wrestling Gold Friday Night, where we talk about the good old days of professional wrestling, when wrestling was wrestling and wrestling was real. Because damn it, it is still real to us. Karen Poole, she is in the chat. See her? Shall we do it? Okay, not going to sing because I can't sing. Let's all wish Karen Poole a happy birthday. If you're on the Facebook chat or yeah, Facebook comments, wish her a happy birthday. If you're on the YouTube chat, uh, let's see. Anyway, if you're in the YouTube chat, wish everybody wish Karen Poole a happy birthday. Um, guess I can't. Not going to relinquish her age. I have to count. I don't like to count. It's hard enough for me to count forwards, but if I got to count backwards, that stuff just does not fly. Uh, I watched the movie that had the number one way. Oh, did you? They didn't really mention a lot about the number one way. Just briefly, they mentioned the number one way to uh the number two thing a woman can swallow that can prevent pregnancy. Hello, people. Come on, folks. It's all about having fun here on wrestling or any of my streams. It's all about having fun, getting together. Um, that's what I was going to mention. That's kind of bullshit about for before we get going here. Um, and did I tell you about my Monday? I, now here's a Monday for you folks here. Here I got the pictures here. Okay, so I'm in a site in Lumpkin, Georgia. If anybody's ever been to Lumpkin, Georgia, you probably don't remember it because the best way I can describe Lumpkin, Georgia, if any of you people ever seen the original, I think it was like 1984, 1985 movie, Children of the Corn. Uh, if you have some cornfields out there, yeah, that would be it. So this off road, now to be fair, this off road broke down last the previous Thursday. So we got that. We got two different crews out there, a grain crew and a modular wall crew was putting up a basket wall surrounding the pipe. But it's just like a crossing. So like Georgia Power, anybody from Electric Company come through, check things out, or if there's any kind of emergency damage, the pole went down or something like that, they can go through there, fix whatever they gotta do. So we got that. That broke down Thursday. Now here comes Monday morning. And you see right there on this skid steer, the track broke off. It broke. The rubber track broke. So that was, I mean, well, I don't have this timestamp on that one. But actually, that Monday morning, that was the first thing that broke down. Then we get to the wall crew. It's their turn. See that Mini X back there? Okay, you got got a little swivel right there, and you got like I don't want really want to say a pin, but it's got kind of, hey, this is a wrestling podcast, right? It's got a gimmick that kind of holds everything together and allows the skid steer or the Mini X to spin. That broke. It broke. The Mini X the cabo was like going like this. It was about to totally fall off. Um, the foreman for the grain crew noticed that. Said, "Hey, stop, stop, stop! Push it up, push it up. Uh, too much of a safety hazard." So they push it up the hill here and leave it there. And of course, not too much longer later, you kind of see right there where that track just fell off. It just slipped the heck off. But at least it was able to get that back in play, put the track back on, and keep working. But of course, this was Monday. I was hoping they didn't get the whole thing done so I could went home Monday evening, but wound up having to stay Monday night, Tuesday night, left Wednesday afternoon to get that job all done. But man, it was a it was a pain, man. But yeah, that was my Monday. So yes, I am definitely happy that's Friday, and we can sit here and talk some wrestling. So let's get to that. Let's talk about wrestling and how we always start off on a wrestling go Friday night. We go like a today in wrestling history. Of course, today is August 15th, Karen Pool's birthday. Did everybody say happy birthday to her? Uh, I'm not going to sing it. If you folks want to sing to her, go right ahead. Because if I want to annoy her, I'll do my version of Ice Ice Baby in front of her. Because okay, here's the story. Back in the day, if we're going to reveal ages, like every day for like a year or two, it feels like every freaking morning we get ready for school, and she plays Ice Ice Baby. Like the lyrics like burned in my skull for like forever. I think I still remember a lot of it. Stop, collaborate, and listen. I suspect with a brand new invention, something as a hold me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Whenever stop, yo, I don't know. Turn off the mic, and I glow. I ain't gonna do the rest. But yeah, it's yeah. But she moved on. She moved on later to Bone Thugs and Harmony. I don't know what the name of the song was. I mean, there's a couple songs I did like by them. I mean, I'm not a big rap music fan, but they were actually pretty decent. Crossroads, I love that song. Just you know that that song just really kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Registered at that time. Um, then then the first of the month song. Then you know, uh, I forgot their main song they first came out with, but there was a song called "Murder, Murder, More Murder, More Murder." It started off like that, and it just like, oh. And I will have that. I will have that murder, murder, more murder stuck in my head all freaking day long. So, so yeah, that is her fault. So, cheers to her. Cheers to her birthday. Yes, I embarrassed her. Hopefully, she's turning red. Hopefully, she's very, very embarrassed by that. Very embarrassed that she was a Vanilla Ice fan. She redeemed herself. I guess Bones was a little bit, you know, what can you say? Harder edge than Vanilla Ice. Uh, but yeah, it's all good. Anyway, like I said, let's start off with talking about today in wrestling history. Like I said, August 15th. Let's freaking go. On this day in 1970 at WOXI Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, Bobby Shane defeated Nick Botwinkle for the Georgia TV title. He handed over his crown. Oh, excuse me. So yes, shit, keep reading the notes. But um you notice this is Bobby Shane right here. Guy was kind of right there on the coast. He was getting, uh, from what I hear and read, he was really starting to hit his stride at this point, or at least getting not peaked out, but rising. Definitely rising, not peaked, but still, he's good. Big time heel. Uh, got used good and all that. But I heard or I got text. But anyway, but in 1975, I believe he was working in Florida, and this kid named Jerry Lawler, I think, was doing a shot in Florida, and at the time he was a mainstay in what's that town called? Memphis, Tennessee, and he was feuding with a guy named Jackie Fargo. Jerry Lawler was, and I think I don't know. Okay, it might have been he might have been doing a shot at Florida, but wasn't doing the same gimmick. Or Bobby Shane might have been doing the crown and everything in Georgia. I think Jared Lawler said they kind of got together in Georgia, but he didn't. Either way. Um, so I think Bobby Shane was about to, I think go to Florida, and wasn't doing that crown and cape gimmick yet, like a King of Wrestling gimmick yet. And Jared Lawler said, "Hey, where can I get a crown and a robe like that?" And Bobby Shane's like, he kinda explained to him, it's like, "I'm feuding with a guy named Jackie Fargo. He's like the big star in Memphis, in this territory, in the state, um, and I wanted to kinda that would be cool if I can go there and put it on and proclaim myself the new king of Memphis, when as I'm feuding with him." So, Bobby Shane's like, "Here you go. Here's the crown. You can borrow mine. Here's the crown. Here's the robe. Have fun with it." He's like, "Alright, man. Next time I see you, I'm just gonna return it." Unfortunately, in 1975, let me pull it up here. Actually, February 20th of 1975, Bobby Shane was with Gary Hart, Austin Idol, and Buddy Colt, who was piloting a Cessna 182, and basically the plane crashed. And Gary Hart, he was able to, even though he was pretty bit beat up. I think he had a broken arm, uh, sternum, back, I mean, lot of broken bones. He was pretty banged up, but he was able to swim back, um, help out Buddy Colt, picked up Mike McCord, who would grow up to be Austin Idol, and when he went back for Bobby Shane, couldn't find him. Then when the police came and all that, and they dive for him, they did find the body of Bobby Shane, and the official report was he drowned, and that bothered Gary Hart for a long, long, I guess for the rest of his life that he was able to find Bobby Shane because uh, a lot of when listen to interviews stuff like that, like I was explained before, Bobby Shane was like one of those guys that people kind of fondly like, uh, do generate heat. He was easy to work with, very good in the ring and stuff like that. Know how to do promos. Wasn't a big guy. Was like 5'9", I think 5'9", 5'10". But yeah, so yeah, he would actually be the guy who gave Lawler the his original crown and robe, and he would go on to use that, and that's pretty much how Jerry the King Lawler was kind of born out of that. Uh, Jerry Lawler would go out and pretty much make a career of being being the king of wrestling, being the king of Memphis, and all that stuff. So yeah, rest in peace, Bobby Shane from all the way back then. But this day, he did defeat uh, Dick Bummer for the TV title. So yeah, I mean, he was probably like I said, it was 5 years from this point. So like I said, he was just really used well at this point and everything else. Love to see some videos stuff like that on Bobby Shane. I heard he was like really good. On this date in 1977 in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Mid-South Coliseum, drawing 8,397, Jim Garvin and Bruce Swayze. I don't think he's kin to Patrick, but who knows? They defeated the Exterminators, Brute Bernard, and the Angel. Defeated Armand Hussein and the Gladiator. Dr. X defeated Bob Ellis. Leroy Brown and Redimus defeated Plowboy Frazier and Paul Orndorff. Pat Barrett and Norval Austin defeated Dick Roberts, who was more famous for being Buddy Roberts, and Jerry Brown in a no DQ to win the Southern Tag Team Championship. Of course, Buddy Roberts went on to become Freebird and all that. And of course, Southern Championship match. Jerry Lawler defeated Bill Dundee in a hair versus car match. Lawler's manager Mickey Pools, no relation. Hair was on the line, I guess, uh, against Dundee's car. This match you can actually find on YouTube. I should have grabbed it and shared the link here, but uh, got to added it here. But you can actually see the match on here. I was trying to find like a full TV taping of this, but uh, couldn't find it nowhere. Also on this date in 1977, Lou Thez is recognized for as the first UWA World Champion in Mexico. On this date in 1978, Ernie Ladd defeats Paul Orndorff for the Mid-South North American Championship. On this date, 1979, Dennis Condrey defeated Gypsy Joe for the Southern Brass Knucks title in Nashville, Tennessee. On this date in 1982, World Class Championship Wrestling presented Star Wars in Dallas, Texas Reunion Arena, drawing 18,000 people. Okay, this is granted, it's in Texas, Dallas, Texas, one territory drawing 18,000 people. I think they would draw like 10 to 14,000 in Omni, uh, another 10 to 14,000 in Madison Square Garden. These were just territories at the time, uh, and not like the big national, produced or national promotions you got now, like AEW, TNA, and uh, WWE. This was just a territory that had like TV around their area, around their state, and in the areas their territory reached to, and I mean, drew a lot of money. All right, on this car, Jose Lothario defeated Frank Dusek. Superfly. I'm not sure if he was wearing a mask or not, but it wound up being Ray Candy. He defeated Brian Diaz. Al Madril defeated Bill Irwin. Lola Gonzalez defeated La Pantria Serena. Bugsy McGraw defeated Gator Hart and Armand Hussein in a handicap match. Uh, by the way, Gary Hart, not sure where he ranks in people's as far as being a manager or whatever, but I always thought he was a good manager. Could be just me. It wasn't. He gave good promos for his wrestlers. Wasn't just a gimmick guy or whatever. Uh, but I thought he was pretty good. I think there's one time remember watching a shoot interview, and he said he actually got to handpick the people he would to manage. It wasn't like the booker or whoever just shoved in somebody and said, here you go, work with this guy." He had the freedom to pick who he managed, and there was it was like Facebook. Somebody asked a question. One of the wrestling Facebook pages asked, uh, "Who would you like, to be your manager?" And I put down Gary Hart because I know it wouldn't be one of these other managers I was just, handed over, like a Jim Cornette or Bobby Heenan or whoever. Okay, you just be my manager. I think it'd be cool. It's like, okay, you know, we're gonna give you a manager, and this guy wants to manage you, Gary Hart. And I think that would be like, lot cooler than just, you know, here, take this guy, manage him, and it could click or not click, or probably like, nah, I don't want to manage that. But anyway, I thought that was interesting when I watched the shoot interview. I think his shoot interview is on YouTube as well. Hello, Brenda Watson. How you doing? Bottoms up. Also, we had Kevin and David Von Erich defeated the Great Kabuki and Magic Dragon to win the All Asian Tag Team titles. World class American champion King Kong Bundy battled Hollow Race to a double disqualification. And in the main event, NWA World Champion Ric Flair defeated Kerry Von Erich in a 2 out of 3 falls match. On this date in 19, okay, according to the website I was using, this happened on this date, August 15th of 1987, but the watch along, it says August 8th, TV of UWF. But more on that later. This is what our watch along is going to include. Uh, and on this date, 1977, Terry Taylor, upset with Jim Ross's questioning at a press conference, walks out, then attacks his tag team partner Chris Adams with a chair. So this would officially, they were kind of bickering back and forth a little bit. They were the UWF Tag Team Champions. Um, UWF actually would come to Atlanta, do a joint show. I think this was the first show. They did a joint show with Deep South Wrestling, which was Jody Hamilton, the Assassins, independent promotion here in Georgia. Um, did a joint uh, show in Atlanta at the Omni, and Chris Adams and Terry Taylor came in as the champions. I believe that's right. If I'm wrong, please correct me on the chat. I think it was the UWF Deep South show. Now they did a second show in Omni where they had the NWA Jim Crockett Promotions, but I think it was the first show with Deep South where they defended the titles against Sting and Rick Steiner. Uh, finish was Sting. I think it was Stinger Steiner got on top of Adams and put a foot on the rope, but Terry Taylor's fighting with the other one and accidentally kicked Adams' foot off the rope, which referee didn't see it. Counted 1, 2, 3, and that's how they lost the tag team titles. Then on, they kind of bickered and stuff like that. Then officially, Terry Taylor would turn heel. Yes, the Red Rooster turned bad. But I think this was the first time he did cross over and become heel, line himself with Eddie Gilbert. But we will explore that in the watch along tonight. Good. I'm glad you're doing good. On this date in 1988 in Memphis, Tennessee at the Mid-South Coliseum, Rock and Roll RPMs Mike Davis and Tommy Lane defeated Scott Steiner and Billy Travis. Didn't I think when he was in like Texas All Star, I think that's when he do the Billy Joe Travis first. Then when he was in Tennessee, he was Billy Travis. Then when they did the whole USWA, he'll be in Dallas and he will call himself Billy Joe Travis, be a heel there. But I think mostly here at this point he was just plain old Billy Travis or the BT Express. Uh, Interesting note about Tommy Lane. Tommy Lane once wrestled as Rogers. Him and Mario Jannetty were a tag team in Central States Wrestling, calling themselves the Uptown Boys. With the kind of the bandanas and all that gear type thing. But uh, he he would wind up coming down to work for Jim Crockett Promotions. Got together with Mike Davis. They formed a rock and roll. I think they did some early tagging for Jim Crockett Promotions. I think they were actually on Atlanta TV. Joe told me one time. They had a match with the Rock and Roll Express at the J&J Center, but then went out going to Puerto Rico, Memphis, Dallas territories, and became the kind of like the heel version of the Rock and Roll Express. Call themselves the Rock and Roll RPMs. Except for in Puerto Rico, actually in Puerto Rico they were baby faces. What's what's that? Do I has anybody ever told me I just remember random shit? That I do kind of randomly remember. I'm like, hey, watching Puerto Rico wrestling, I was like, wait, what people cheering? Bad guy. Anyway, on this day in 1994, also in Memphis, Tennessee, Mephisto and Dante defeated PG-13 to win the held up USWA tag team titles. Sorry, I couldn't find no photos of Mephisto or Dante or them together. And finally, on this date in 1995, Muto defeated Hiroshi Hase to win the 1995 G1 Climax Tournament. Kids, you love that Japanese wrestling. Homework. Go to YouTube, watch some early, like around this time, 94, 95, 96. Well, actually, even a little before that. I forgot when he started wrestling. Uh, oh yeah, way before that. Uh, early 90s actually. Um, check out some uh Hiroshi Hase stuff. It is very good. Actually, there was a very good Clash of the Champions uh match. I think him and who was it? Was it Chono or Saito? Had a match with, or it could have been Muta or Great Muta at the time, of course. In case you didn't know, Kenji Muto, sometimes will, he go in that dark side, especially in Japan, and become the Great Muta. And of course, in America, he was always the Great Muta, or most people remember him in America as the Great Muta. He had other names in different territories. I digress. But it's like one of the clashes. It was like, I bet him and Muta. No, Muta went against Lex Luger. I bet Chono or Saito. Him and somebody else. Anyway, either way had a great match on on the Clash of Champions. Someone would do that on purpose. Like do what? I say was good. Are you talking about Hase or you lost me there, Joe? What are you talking about? Fire Minds. But yeah, I thought Hashi was good. Hase was good. Hase, Chono, Muto, of course, and Muta. Um, why not? Yeah. Yeah. You'd be surprised what people would search. That's why they got a search button for. But yeah, Hase, like I said, man, he would have matches with Chris Benoit, of course, Budo, and Muda. I think there's like this legendary. I've never seen it. I was just reading about it earlier, where him and Great Muda had a match where uh, it ain't Kabuki. Oh, come on, man. Kabuki, well, at the time when I was watching wrestling, when he was out. That whole green mist and the hair and everything, and the kicks he did, um, thought were awesome. And I actually believe that the Great Muta was the Great Kabuki son. Remember that in the NWA when when Kenji Muto first became the Great Muta with Gary Hart in the NWA, and they kind of say, yeah, Muta is the son of the Great Kabuki. Gary Hart again, uh, right there. Uh, Fucker made you believe, man. Uh, so yes, uh, Muta is the son of the Great. I can't do it good. I gotta like listen to Gary Hart. But well, Mr. Fuji, Mr. Fuji, you just gonna get WWF stuff. Fuji Vice, pretty entertaining stuff back in the day. I think it was like a Tuesday Night Titans or something like that, and then it morphed into what was it? It's way before Raw, WWF Primetime. Yes, if Mr. Saito comes to your McDonald's and says he wants a quarter pounder, give that dude a quarter pounder. Him and Kim Patera, if it's a late night, and if you're about to close, you got a bunch of, uh, especially if you got a bunch of quarter pounders sitting there, you say you're going to throw away anyway. That's the story I heard. I think that's the story they gave on, they do a Dark Side of the Ring of that. Anyway, but yeah, if they just say they'll, they'll pay you and, you know, and want those, quarter pounders, you give those fuckers, why would you, I mean, Kim Patera was a big dude. Sato looked like a big mean dude. I mean, Patera looked like a big mean dude, but yeah, I'm sure, yeah, he throws boulders, but that's just a nice way of saying, I don't want to hurt you, kid. I don't want to kill you, kid. But yeah, but yeah, Hiroshi Hase, if you love that Japanese stuff, check them out. Check him out. I think he's like a politician or something like that now. He got in some little bit of controversy too. And it's the thing at the time. Back in the day, women say, "Oh, this is yours." So they would kind of buy, but now not new. But anyway, so yeah, that does it for today in wrestling history. Let's see what got forget anything? Forget any tidbits? No, that's all I got. My little. Yeah. All right, and like I said, this watch along features UWF in 1987. Um, say it was when the Rooster turned bad. Of course, for those of you don't know, Terry Taylor was a kind of accomplished territory guy. He went to Memphis and Georgia, and then back mid South especially. Worked a lot of mid South under Bill Watts, and again came to Atlanta for a brief time. Worked with Rockets. Was actually uh, oops, was it 85? Starcade 85, where him and Buddy Landell had a match for the national heavyweight title, and Buddy Landell won thanks to the help of James J. Dillon. Um, so he was a babyface all through that time. Uh, they actually did. for Chattanooga, the what was it? Georgia Championship Wrestling Superstar or the Superstars of Georgia Championship Wrestling in Chattanooga. Uh, but they did it on like Chattanooga Arena, whatever. Uh, and it was Terry Taylor and Bobby Fulton teaming as the Fantastic Ones, kind of a knockoff of the Fabulous Ones. Of course, later on, Bobby Fulton would team up with Tommy Rogers, got the ones part and just called himself the Fantastic. Still did bow ties and yes, 85. I was slipping there, but yeah, he was there then. So yeah, what year he's? I want to say 80 or 78, 80, something like that. That's when he broke in and he did territory thing and uh, kind of was used a lot, really good in Mid South. One of their white meat baby faces and in '87, I guess they decided, hey, we're gonna turn you heel. And but like I said, I talked about where he was in a tag team with Chris Adams, and then they split. But this is what made it official. So whenever you folks are ready, let me know. I'll do the count. Oh, let me share the link on YouTube or on Facebook for those of you watching at home. Put a link here on YouTube as well. Don't push the wrong button again. There we go on that one. So whenever you folks who are watching live are ready, let me know. I'll do the little countdown and I will watch UW. Like I said, it's March August 8th, 1987, but according to what I was reading a while ago, I even Googled it a couple times. They said this happened on August 15th. Yes, we are ready to go. Get myself ready to go. All right. How about you, birthday girl? You ready? She ain't fall asleep yet. Hopefully, she ain't been like embarrassed that told the world that Vanilla Ice gave away her. But hers every freaking morning. All right, y'all are ready. I am ready. Oh, up. I'll do a countdown. Five, four, three, two, one. Press play now. There is. Let's see. Okay. Not to get too sidetracked here. Uh, there's a was it TikTok? One of those social media things. There's this lady uh, who looked at the screen. There's unfortunately, man, that's a career. That's the biggest what if in pro wrestling right there, Random TA. But anyway, um, they had a question. It's like had a question said, straight people, uh, how did you know you were straight? And of course, I'm first thing I thought about was well, the gateway there was Catherine Bach, Daisy Duke from Dukes of Hazzard. But what put a stamp on that was ladies like Missy Hyatt, Miss Elizabeth, Precious, even the Fallen Angel, Woman, Nancy Sullivan. Uh, yeah, that pretty much put a stamp that I was straight, and Doug women. But yeah, yeah, Missy Hyatt was hot back in the day, to say that. Yes, this is kind of a young Jim Ross. Yeah, Sunshine. She had her moments too. But yeah, this is a young, kind of a young Jim Ross. But I'll argue the fact that UWF Jim Ross is the best Jim Ross. Oh, Shaska Watley, Pistol Pez Watley versus Ken Massey. Ken Massey, kind of a journeyman wrestler. I think do remember him back in the day. Had a few little territories here and there. Now, Pistol Pez, I know he was pretty popular in Georgia for a while, and the beginning of before when Jim Crockett Promotions took over that WTBS time. I mean, I know he was I think it was a heel in the ICW ran by the Popos, but was one of the street peoples of Jimmy Valiant, and he wound up turning against Jimmy Valiant and cut his hair off, helped get his head shaved, and Jimmy Valiant, of course, paid back the favor and made Shaska Watley a bald headed geek. And uh, to Shaska's credit, he kept the clean look. Then with Wrestling Continental Wrestling Federation as Willie B. Hurt. Uh, yes, yeah, before WWE Jim Ross and post Jim Ross, never the same. Yeah. Um, I mean, unfortunately for him, a bunch of health things came up, and um, this not the same. Um, sometimes I do hate it when they drag him out there. It's like, uh, I get it. You want to pay him. He's a legend. You got the money to pay him. Let him do other. Let him do those one-off, one-to-one interviews every now and then. Don't let him be coming. I mean, I'm hoping they do that and meaning well, but I would say yes. Pre WWE, WWF, when he was UWF and working for uh, Jim Crockett Promotions that eventually went to WCW. Uh, he was good, but I think UWF Jim Ross is, I say, by far the best Jim Ross. A light kick to the head. Then it's Mr. Massey down. Speaking of Memphis, is that what's his name? Is that right? Carl Fergie? Is that right? Is that his name? The referee there. Basically another guy who wrestled in Memphis. Yeah, I think he's another cousin of Jerry Lawler and wrestled as the King of Wrestling at one time. Then I'm gonna knock back a few drinks. I'm gonna super kick bloody that bloody buffoon. Uh, See, this guy should be a Hall of Famer because, like I said, Eddie Gilbert here at the time was married to that young lady, Missy Hyatt. David Haskins, they just the only time he had a big push, yeah, you talking about Chris Adams? Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, he's passed away now. But if he did meet if back in the day he did meet in a bar, if he was still alive, I say, yeah, don't offer him buy a few more drinks because you'll wind up broke and he'll wind up beating you up because he gets mad. He was an angry. But yeah, David Haskins here. I think the only big thing he ever did was for USA Wrestling and Continental Wrestling Federation teamed up with Johnny Rich. Uh, they called him another rich cousin, but he wasn't another. He wasn't kin to Tommy or Johnny Rich. Uh, but teamed with Johnny Rich is one half the Party Boys, and they went to WCW, and they became enhancement talent at that time. But yes, Eddie Gilbert. Yes, just a fact, like I said before, the fact that he was once married to Missy Hyatt and once married to Medusa, that right there, that's Hall of Fame right there. Like if they induct them, I mean the Missy Hyatt and Medusa both should just induct them. But another thing that's kind of significant about this time too? This is when Jim Crockett was about to take over UWF. That's why you see Magnum there and a lot of name dropping of people who are in and highlights of people who are in the NWA Jim Crockett Promotions at the time. So yeah, this is the time where they were getting bought out by Jim Crockett. Yeah, King Cole Fergie. That's it. It popped in my Carl Fergie. No, he was Lawler's cousin or Davey Haskins. No, Davey Haskins was just Davey Haskins. Think of think of Brian Christopher. He had another son named Kevin Lawler, but if he wrestled, he didn't wrestle long. But Eddie Gilbert's dad was Tommy Gilbert, a longtime tag team partner of Eddie Marlin, back in the golden. But nah, David Haskins wrestled as one of the rich cousins, but wasn't related. Now Tommy and Johnny were related, but not Davey. Hot shot. Oh, not yet. Oop. Oh, no. Went to the well once too many times. Now he's gonna hit the hot shot. But in ring and supposedly had a great mind for the business. Eddie Gilbert was very good. The Memphis stuff or the UWF stuff? Oh, nice. Let's go ahead and monitor that your UWF television championship belt too. I will say that at the time that's probably one of my favorite belts as far as design and everything. That was a good looking belt. Yeah, I mean he just wasn't taking care of us. Uh, I think the last territory he really wrestled at was Puerto Rico. You remember he did some independent stuff. He had that one feud, and I guess in the Northeast Independence with Cactus Jack, they had the 2 out of 3 fall match, where it was like a barbed wire match and a cage match and some other gimmick match. But they, I mean, came to Smoky Mountain, and he was supposed to have a top spot there. And I think it's supposed to help with the booking as well. Then he didn't show up. Then a few weeks later, that's when he passed away. I think it's like 92, 93 when he passed away. And it was like, yep, then I gave you a belly to belly. Yeah, yeah, it might have been 94 because I had to look it up in a minute. Yeah, he helped start Eastern Championship Wrestling. He was there as their booker as well. Then him and Todd Gordon had a falling out. I mean, it was Eastern Championship Wrestling, then became you know Extreme Championship Wrestling. But yeah, he was there when it was Eastern Championship Wrestling. I think there's another twist to it. I think he had a crown on his head too, and all that, and called himself the King of Philadelphia. I think there was like a falling out with him, Todd Gordon, and uh, Paul Heyman wound up staying. Of course, the rest is history from there. But yeah, Paul was guess you want to call it a, a Padawan of Eddie Gilbert. Eddie Gilbert was a Jedi training, uh, train the business or train the business side of the of wrestling to uh, Paul Heyman, on unfuckwithable, unfuckwithable Simmons. And why would you? It's like, okay, I'm gonna pull a rib on somebody, but not that big fucker. Oh, so okay, so it's 95 when he passed away. Yeah, sometimes the 90s there kind of blend all together. Some things are a little foggy. So I think, let's see, the Gladiators was Gary Royal and George South. This is obviously Gary Royal, and they were supposed to be the top tag team of California or something like that. Uh, Coming in for the Crockett Cup and here to make their debut. Then went up against the Monkeys, and Monkeys got their, I guess, the only win they ever had on television was against the Gladiators, and the Gladiators, never even sniffed a win again. So Teddy Long, the referee there, can't forget, can't forget that's Teddy Long, before he became a heel referee and then eventually a manager and a GM. He was just a referee. Yes, Ron Simmons was a badass. Apparently, so much a badass, even the Steiner brothers, they screw with everybody, but they wouldn't screw with Ron Simmons. Top fifth, the people. Gotta make sure, okay, make sure that the music's not streaming through here. Gosh, I remember these videos, little promo videos for Dusty and Ric Flair. And this is from the I Quit match in 1986. That's from the Crockett Cup. One for JJ. Takede 6, baby. First blood match. First one say, cock-a-doodle-doo! Poor guy. How about a shitty gimmick? This is when the other members are dressed up as chairs. Getting all right bar there. Katie just threw a table at him. But yeah, they okay, yeah, part of the acquisition, of course, they had Big Bubba Rogers come in, defeat one man game for the UWF Championship. So he was he is also a former UWF champion. He's the one who put over Doctor Death for that championship. And of course, probably more famous as being the Big Boss Man from Cobb County, Georgia. Yeah, I mean he was. Um, I mean he had that kind of that not really soft spoken, but didn't scream, but kind of made himself say, "Look, I'm smarter and I'm better than everybody." He kind of kind of like that had that Nick Botwinkle slash Ric Flair type vibe going with him. And of course, when he was a babyface, he would like wear the robes and do a few similar things that Ric Flair would do. But yeah, but once Jim Crockett uh, took over, he went back to being Jim Cornette's bodyguard. I thought Big Boss Man was pretty cool, especially when he lost a good bit of weight and could move a whole lot better. Yeah, for his time, it was a good match, and um, speaking of young men there, and at this time, this when Sting kind of first became a babyface, he was with well, no, this okay, strike that. This wasn't the first time he was a babyface. Him and Hellwig, Jim Hellwig, when they first formed Freedom Fighters in Memphis, they were babyfaces, and they turned heel, became the Blade Runners, and really kind of dug deep in the whole face paint thing, and was Blade Runners when they first came to UWF, managed by Eddie Gilbert. Uh, Bill Watts didn't like Hellwig. He liked Sting, but he didn't like Hellwig. But this is shortly after he broke away with Eddie Gilbert. So yeah, this is '87. Stan is kind of the newest part of the Midnight Express. Vince Condrey left. They brought in Stan Lane. Yeah, I remember when that kind of happened too, because they were starting to promote Crockett Cup '87, and I think it was David Crockett was like announcing some teams, and he announced Stan and Steve, the Fabulous Ones, going to be part of that tournament. I think they were working in Florida at the time, and yeah, they were working in Florida, but Florida wasn't doing that good. Jim Crockett wound up, you know, taking over all that too, and I think according to Jim Cornette, he said Stan or Steve started you know, doing real estate at the time. Um, kind of semi-retired, not really retired, but basically looking at other ways to make money, make a living. Then so it's like, hey, does he Doug Stan Lane and called him up and asked Jim and Bobby what did they think about Stan Lane. It's like, okay, and yeah, it worked out great. I did like the Bobby and Stan version of the Midnight Express. Rick ain't putting up with that bullshit no more. And, and this was after let's see, yeah, the Midnight Express had costed or helped cost the Rock Roll Express the World Tag Team titles. That was in their uh, fourth reign as the NWA World Tag Team titles. They got attacked going to the ring, going up against Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Bobby Eaton hit Ricky Morton with that single arm DDT on the floor. They sold it like he broke his shoulder off, and uh, Robert had going there alone. Uh, you know how the story goes. Uh, they wound up getting the upper hand. Arn and Tully wound up getting the upper hand on Robert. Then Ricky Fine comes out with the arm in a sling and taped up and all that. And, gets a tag in on Robert and shines for a little bit. Then they attack that arm and work on it, stomp on it, stretch it, arm bar. Finally, Robert's like, look, gotta save my partner here. And that's how Arn and Tully won the NWA World Tag Team titles for the first time. And so that incident pretty much reignited the Midnight Express rock and roll feud till rock and roll left, went back to Memphis and AWA. Now Bobby Hay, Bob, yeah, tag team gold right here. Bobby had a pretty good top rope. All of his top rope moves look good. Double drop kick and a ref bump. Drops the hat. Does he? So he drops the hat. Oh, he picks it up this time. Just throws Earl in the ring. Oh, okay. So they were tag team champions at this point. My bad. became mad about it. I thought they had done lost the tag team titles. Yeah, kind of looking at this now, it is kind of disheartening. It kind of did wish that they would at least keep UWF as a separate promotion, but of course we didn't know how the finances of Jim Crockett's promotion was at the time. We got Ric Flair here, the original big gold belt. Wasn't I mean everybody loves that belt, but I can't say I was like that big of a fan of it. I don't know why, but people love that belt. I mean, I ain't saying it was bad or anything. It just wasn't one of my favorites. I did like the WWF world title belt that they had before the wingtip uh, belt. All right, Miss Watson, you have fun working tomorrow. Thank goodness I don't. The Terminator there, he is the other brother of Johnny United or uh Laurinaitis and Joe Laurinaitis. Of course, Joe Laurinaitis was Road Warrior Animal. Uh, Johnny was, of course, Johnny Ace. People power. Of course, Dadgum. One of the meanest Dadgum wrestlers in the whole Dadgum business. In the history of Dadgum Pro Wrestling was Black Bart. Okay, that's not Davey Haskins. I don't know who that is, but it's not Davey Haskins. That no, Moscow was already a thing, so it was it's not Spike or I don't know who that doofus is. But it's not Davey Haskins. Dadgum Clothesline by Black Bart. I remember Bob Bradley. He was a pretty good enhancement. I think was Bob Bradley like one of the Battle Cats or something like that, or one of the original Battle Cats where they gave it to uh what's his name? The guy's name. Phone's right here. Brady Boone. But yeah, Bob Bradley is one of the battle casts they had. Editor Tim the Turtle. Alright, and there you have it. 1980s. Like I said, recently you did see a lot of promos featuring Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, because uh, Jim Crockett was finalizing the deal to buy the UWF. Um, UWF was going to be. I mean, it was a good promotion, but apparently the old thing kind of hit him. Bill Watts talks about it in his interview, um, and pretty much nobody was coming. Not they weren't going to movies. Uh, they wouldn't. No concerts were coming through there. Nothing. But unfortunately, that's what killed UWF. UWF's doing. I mean, good business. They had great talent there. Um, good young talent as well. And I think let's see, Skandar and Devastation Incorporated pretty much went back to Dallas. Uh, Chris Adams, I think, wound up going back. I forget if he went back there before. I think he made a few shots with Jim Crockett, but he wound up going back to Dallas. Terry Taylor would follow him to Dallas after losing the unification match between him and Nikita Koloff for the TV titles at Starrcade 90 or Starrcade 87. So Terry Taylor wound up going to World Class. Then, uh, unfortunately, went to the WWF and became the Red Rooster. Poor fella. Uh, I thought he's a pretty good talent in the ring and stuff like that. But supposedly, the rumor was that he was supposed to be the original Mr. Perfect, but they wound up getting Kurt Hennig. Right choice, I would say. Looking at it, uh, Kurt Hennig was a better Mr. He kind of fit the mold a little better. Uh, Not sure how Terry Taylor would have been able to pull it off, um, but you could have just let him be Terry Taylor, terrific Terry Taylor, whatever. Uh, and not the Red Rooster. Good gosh, must have pissed somebody off royally. Um, but uh, Eddie Gilbert he wound up going to Memphis after the close, closure of UWF. Basically, they kept Sting, Rick Steiner, brought back Brad Armstrong, Tim Horner because they moved them over there to be the UWF Tag Team Champions, but brought them back. Um, there's somebody else. Steve Williams would come in, but he was making more money in Japan, so he would come work for Jim Crockett, then go back to Japan and uh, be more of a star in Japan than Jim Crockett. Um, then would come in, when it was WCW as well, and who could forget when Doc and Gordy came in and wrecked the fucking house and I stuck on 90. Everything happened in 92, but no, they didn't keep too many people from WF. Randy Anderson, I guess. Randy Pee Wee Anderson. That's what I think everybody kind of drifted off to world class. Jack Petrie, he went back to Texas, but went to the new promotion, Wild West Wrestling. The team back up with John Tatum. Am I missing anybody that kind of was pulled over? Jim Crockett went up. Now Eddie Gilbert would eventually come back to the NWA. Um, came back as a babyface too. I think they turned when they turned Rick Steiner babyface against the Varsity Club. That's when Eddie Gilbert came back. Scott Steiner wound up coming in. Yeah, Gilbert and Steiner were like won- wound up winning the U.S. Tag Team titles. I mean, Gilbert stayed on a pretty long time, then eventually would go back to Memphis, other places. Maybe my timetable is not. But anyway, Steen became a big star. Had that match with Ric Flair at the Clash of Champions. After that, he was a made man. One of the top baby faces for a long, 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 long. Till I mean, eventually WCW closes. Got bought by Vince. That mother. Uh, yeah. UWF. Still recommend. If you want to watch some old school, hard hitting uh, wrestling, watch some UWF. Good stuff. So Hiroshi Hase, watch some of his matches in UWF. Sure, welcome. But yeah. Again, that's why my little thumbnail there. I said, yeah, the Rooster turning bad. Yeah, and and he would actually admit later on too that uh, unfortunately when he did leave WWF, came back, came down to WCW, was called Terry Taylor, came back as a babyface. The crowd would chant Red Rooster, or he would hear people calling him Red Rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Uh, but that's how powerful the WWF was. You go up there, you get saddled with a name like the Red Rooster. Go somewhere else, man, you're screwed. Even the name you went by for mean, how many years was it he wrestled as? Google machine. Okay, started in '79. Uh, world class for like '88. Then so for 2 years he was in the World Wrestling Federation. Seems like always seems like a long time. But yeah, World Wrestling Federation from 1988 to then came back down. Let's see, but had some good matches with Arn Anderson over the World Television title. Then he went heel as Terrence Taylor, York Foundation. Then after that disbanded, he called himself the Tailor Made Man. Returned for WWF slightly. Few shows here and there. Shows. I came back to WCW. Then '94, there was a little upstart promotion called the American Wrestling Federation. That they try and be a little different, have wrestling matches with rounds like they have in boxing. Um, they had some talent there, but he was more of a color commentator. Came back to WCW, uh, a backstage agent, uh, but pretty much the rest of his career. So yeah, I guess apparently right now he's still working for WWE. Um, works as a trainer for the developmental territory NXT. According to the Pro Wrestling Torch in 2017, Taylor, along with Shawn Michaels, taught the finishing classes at the WWE Performance Center. The last 4 levels of classes. So, of course, I think it might be on YouTube too. I think this documentary is on YouTube. Uh, called Gentleman's Voice. It's about Chris Adams. The same people who did not the WWE version of the World Class, Rise of Fall World Class. It was, it's called the Triumph of World Class. That was all called, but that documentary is definitely on YouTube. Um, I think same people who did that first documentary about Von Erichs and World Class did the one about Chris Adams. Very good documentary. Sad. Uh, I like the World Class one. Um, Chris Adams was pretty good. I mean, Chris Adams, I guess he's the one who first really started using the super kick. Uh, and, you know, he invented the thigh slap for the super kick. Uh, taught the move to Paul Diamond, Shawn Michaels, Marty. Because Marty went in. Texas All Star. But yeah, Chris Allen's wrestled a little bit for Texas All Stars, especially when I think Fritz took that one over for a time, and Chris Allen's there for it was kind of back and forth between world class and Texas All Star for a little bit. Uh, you know, no guaranteed contract, so I don't know. I can't remember if it's the same years or he'll branch off and kind of work there a little bit. Yeah, how it's done. Or he might work both at the same time. Like I said, I can't remember. But during his stint there, that's when rookie Shawn Michaels, rookie Paul Diamond was there. Taught them both the super kick. Um, so yeah, uh, so if he did give anything to the business, was a thigh slap super kick because he kind of had a way of doing it. Did it quickly. Didn't see him do it. Now it's some people, young bucks, they're definitely obviously see it when they do it. Um, Not everybody does it. Guess it was called the Triumph and Tragedy of World Class. I think watching just about anything I know the Tales from Territory where they talked about World Class and I gave my review video on that. Uh, I shared the link there. Yeah, this is the link to the Von Erich's Heroes of World Class Wrestling. Okay, so the try. Okay, Von Erich's the Heroes of World Class. So there's a link to that on YouTube. Let's see if I can find Gentleman's Choice on here. I know it's on. Um, yep, it is. This is the full document. So yeah, this right here is the second link I'm posting up right here is the Gentleman's Choice Facebook. Yeah, the Triumph of Tragedy of World Class was the one WWE did. But this was to me, I thought was a better documentary. For you people on Facebook Live, this is the World Class documentary. Did one. The same people who did that did the Gentleman's Choice. Skimming over it. actually gives a detail of the incident. Uh, a guy named Boo Ray and Chris Adams that led to, unfortunately, Boo Ray having to defend himself against Chris Adams. But there you go. My bad. My bad. There you go. I accidentally pasted the link to the Von Erichs documentary twice, but the bottom one is Chris Adams ones. Like I said, incredible watch. I think, my opinion. Uh, Definitely check those out. Anyway, it's getting about that time this evening. I say appreciate everybody uh, tuning in tonight. People on Facebook, people on appreciate. Like I said, well, didn't say it in the beginning, did I? So flipped out in the excitement. But yeah, if you watched this long, you dig my stuff. Hey, help your boy out. Click that like button. If you're watching this replay or whatever you want to call it, not watching this live, you watch it last this long. Again, say help your boy out. Click that like button. Also, if you're not watching this live, hit me up with a comment. And if it is, if you don't like it, hey, let me know. Uh, I'll answer those uh, comments as well. And so yeah, leave a comment. Uh, any memories of UWF uh, that you may have, hey, share it or just be friendly and say hello. That's always pretty cool. Also, if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, please be a champ. Hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell. Uh, People on Facebook Live, hey, if you don't follow me on YouTube, hey, get you off YouTube, click that subscribe button. And if you people on YouTube or not following me on Facebook, hey, jump over to Facebook, look up Ronald Ray, that's me. Click that follow button, and that's the easiest way to know when I have new videos out as well, especially if you don't click that notification bell. But like I said, that does it for me this evening. Appreciate everybody. If you didn't watch this live, uh, appreciate you watching as well. Other than that, folks, have a good one. Take it easy. And until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.
Ronald Ray here saying thank you for checking out my video. If you don't mind, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and share this video with family and friends. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe to RP2 Vision, where I cover the sport of professional wrestling from yesterday to today. Now, don't forget to click the notification bell as well, so you'll be notified when my other weekly content is available, like Wrestling Trivia Tuesday, WWE Raw Recap, and AEW Dynamite Recap. I also have 2 live streams. Every Thursday at 8 p.m., it's Spot Show Live Stream, where I discuss the latest news in professional wrestling. And on Friday nights at 8 o'clock p.m., it's Wrestling Gold Friday Night, where I discuss the good old days of professional wrestling. When wrestling was wrestling, wrestling was real because it's still real to us. Folks, have a good one and take it easy.